Yes, mine damer, det er tid for en reaction-video. I dag så skal vi reagere på Most Disturbing Abandoned Building Encounters Caught on Camera. Altså de skumleste tingene som har blitt fanget på kamera i forlatte bygninger. Creepy ting i bakgrunnen der. Ja, let's get it. Og som alltid, husk å like og abonnere. Alt det der. Setter veldig stor pris på det.
Urbex Hill is one of the most popular urban exploration channels on YouTube, featuring raw footage from YouTuber Chris Hill's visits to a lot of the more extreme abandoned buildings in the US. From abandoned mental hospitals to decommissioned military facilities, Chris explores all of it, but specifically...
Okay. Men da må jeg spørre hvorfor. Hva får du ut av det? Altså, han får jo åpenbart content og penger ut av det, så jeg skjønner jo hvorfor, men se på det stedet her. Du kan ikke mene at du går inn til det stedet her og tenker at du skal komme deg helskinnet ut igjen. Altså, det er latterlig.
Places that a lot of even the more extreme explorers wouldn't visit, at least not at night and alone like Chris always does.
Alene?
In January 2023, he uploaded footage of his visit to the now abandoned Paul Revere Elementary School in Cleveland. After almost a century of use, the school was permanently closed in 2015 due to declining enrollment numbers. From the moment Chris walks inside, it's pretty clear that the place hasn't been used in years and has been severely damaged by the elements, vandals, and the passage of time. The bottom floors are all flooded, the walls are peeling, the structure doesn't seem too sound, and there's rust, random paper...
Nei, jeg må gå tilbake her nå. Se nedover der. Du kan ikke fortelle meg at du er der inne alene på natta, bro. Du kan ikke fortelle meg det der. Eller han her sitter og forteller meg det nå, men jeg kan ikke tro på det. Fordi hva er det som går inn i hjernen din?
A little after 10 minutes into the exploration, you can hear some sort of ruffling sound and other strange noises coming from somewhere in the schoolhouse.
What is that?
Hva da?
Do you hear that?
Nei, det gjør jeg ikke. Hva er det jeg skal høre? Bro, nå er jeg redd. Nå må jeg lene meg tilbake. Kom deg ut. Det er noen andre i bygningen med deg. Kom deg ut.
Somebody's here.
Nei, sier du det?
As Chris turns a corner in the hallway, another person's flashlight can be seen shining down the hall.
Altså...
It looks to be just one person, who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. He then heads to the library and explores the rest...
Hva med om du walker ut utgangen, kanskje, broren min? Det tror jeg hadde gjort i hvert fall, hvis det er noen andre... Du vet liksom ikke hva hensikten til den personen er.
To the top floors. As he goes into the bathroom on the top floor, he has another encounter.
Få en lyse. Hva er det der? Det der? Nei. Hvorfor lyser øynene? Nei. Ok. Nei. Jeg skal ikke si det. Bare nei. Sorry for at jeg pauser.
Somebody's in there.
Løp!
Scared the out of me. Oh, man.
At the far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront the man.
Han har våpen, ja.
Hello.
Ja, men... Han står der fortsatt. Hva faen?
Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
Det der er ikke noe toy. Da er det fra Toy Story. Den er levende. Den bevegde på seg. Så du ikke det?
As it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall. Most people would have left as soon as they saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through, though not before clearing the entire rest of the bathroom. Sadly, some of the rooms in the school are filled with books, whiteboards, and other perfectly usable materials that could have been donated to another school before the building was abandoned.
Så det var masse
But
greier
nobody
der fra
seemed to
før,
care enough to give them away before the school was abandoned.
Så det var masse greier der fra før. Ja, altså, jeg ville tatt med meg noe hjem, i hvert fall. Kanskje lære noe. Det trenger jeg.
About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot.
Ja, altså, du må jo tenke på at dette er gamle bygninger som ikke blir tatt vare på lenger, liksom. De kan kollapse, det kan være altså, hjemløse mennesker, det kan være farlige mennesker der inne, liksom. Det kan politiet, altså alt det der, er det virkelig verdt det?
Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
Safe stay here.
Safe?
What's in it?
Sikkert noe penger. Var jeg den eneste som så der?
As Chris explores one of the rooms, a strange howl can be heard in the distance, and as he raises his camera, you can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room. By this point, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. Once again, Chris draws his gun and prepares for an encounter, but he doesn't find anyone in any of the rooms. After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides to head home, but not before this final encounter.
Det er jo åpenbart noe... Ja, det er åpenbart noe galt her. Det er noen spøkelser og noe greier.
This place is crazy.
Hva er det noe?
I remember the last time I explored it. Hello?
Hva? Tror du den morderen eller de spøkelsene bryr seg om du sier hello? Nei, jeg tror ikke de bryr seg så mye om hvor hyggelig du er. Altså, de er ute etter deg, liksom. Hallo? Oh my god, det der skremte... Nå pausa den på det verste øyeblikket, men det skremte livet ut av meg. Det var min far som banket på, jeg trodde det kom fra videoen. Jeg pauser videoen, så hører jeg fortsatt fra... Åh, fy faen, det skremte livet av meg. Ok, la oss fortsette.
Hello? What? Okay, I know I heard somebody coming down these stairs.
Ja, det gjorde vi også.
I'm out.
Kommenter hvis du hørte det, for det gjorde jeg.
Luckily, he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently.
Men det gikk jo fint med Chris. Wow. Det var en god start, mine damer og herrer.
The Proper People is an urban exploration channel owned by Brian and Michael, two friends who travel the world in search of abandoned buildings.
Okay, så nå er det to stykker.
For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have built up a reputation for being a trustworthy
Da er det bare en som dør, kanskje. Eller så er det to som dør. Men vi satser på at ingen dør. Det er ikke hyggelig. Da tror jeg ikke det har vært på YouTube heller, tror jeg.
Channel that only uploads genuine footage of their explorations. From 1939 to 1977, the Jemison Center housed hundreds of psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating them pretty harshly. Often referred to as the creepiest building in Alabama, Old Bryce was closed in the late 70s and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world. Michael and Brian approached the location in their car. There doesn't seem to be anyone around, and after driving around the grounds for a while, the two YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while some of the walls are completely covered in all kinds of graffiti, some of them aren't even there anymore. With the state of disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance
I alle dager. Altså, er det innebygd dass på gamingstolen, liksom?
Repair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap Brian and Michael inside. But as they go up the stairs to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Det er jo sånn djeveltegn.
Oh, look at this. Look at this staircase out here.
Oh. Rett ut av skrekken.
Somebody there.
No way.
What?
Yes, see their light. They're out there. I swear on my life. Right there.
Jeg ser ingenting. jump scare me, please.
Should I say hello?
Yeah.
There's somebody out there. Let's go back to the car. This way. If it's somebody wanting to talk to us.
Let's go to the car now.
Oh yeah. Oh.
God idé. La oss stikke. Dra hjem. Spise kebab.
As the camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building.
Fy fader, det så jeg ikke.
Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted. Chillingly, if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them. After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car to avoid getting jumped or worse. It's hard to know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was there had arrived on foot and probably been there for a while.
Ja, det er sikkert noen som bor der da. Så kommer du inn I hjemmet dem, så driver du og forstyrrer dem.
Ridgely Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. In April 2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their
Vi startet
visit,
med en person, så var det 2 personer. Nå vi på 3 personer. Det er bedre, det er bedre. Man burde gå I gruppe.
they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building. Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds.
Yep.
Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
I'm not scared of you. Oh yeah, well I am scared of you.
I think someone is here now, to be honest with you. What the?
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the 4 explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and
I
this is
heard
where
anything,
things
yeah.
get a little disturbing.
Boy, that's what? Be careful. Be careful. There's someone there. Someone there. Just like, see who it is. It might be. He might need help.
Hello? Hello? What?
Oh shit! Ok. Det var tydeligvis ikke en av de som snakket I hvert fall, som sa hello.
Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Keep calm. Keep
Hvorfor
calm.
blinker det? Jeg får epilepsi. Hva er det som skjer?
Man! What the? Don't pull you up. Get out. Get out. Get out. What you want? He's right there. He's right there.
Følger han etter? Oh hell no! Oh shit! Han kommer etter med
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car. It's unknown who the man was.
Jeg sverger jeg hørte en lyd utenfor døra mi. Jeg er ikke pyse eller noe, men jeg må bare sjekke.
Hvis du ser denne videoen, så betyr det at jeg lever I hvert fall, så da vi good.
Was or what he wanted from them. But one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making. It's probably not too pleasant to have 4 rowdy teenagers burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing.
Ja, nei, det skjønner
But still, it's good they were able to get away
Det er ikke
unharmed.
lov å bo der uansett. Men et eller annet sted må man jo bo da, hvis man ikke har et hjem.
In 2006, a 36-year-old man named Vincent Filya was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter. In September of that same year, he saw a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Schoaf getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her. Posing as a police officer, Filya arrested Schoaf on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Filya in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only be described as a nightmare come true. Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation she found.
Altså, se på han. Du ser jo at han der ikke helt, hva skal man si, riktig skrudd oppi huet. Men, faen, stakkars jente, ass. Ble kidnappet I 10 dager
Herself
I
in.
skogen.
If she wanted to escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Filya, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play.
Bodde hun nedi der, I skogen? Han har sånn der trapdoor og alt sammen. Å, fy fader, tenk å være stuck nedi der I 10 dager.
One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Filya had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers.
Damn.
However, he never managed to carry out his plan, for just a few minutes later the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender. To make a long story short, Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Filya spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in his cell. In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout where the terrifying crime took place. Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
Ooh, se bilden.
I think this was the little girl's backpack.
Wow, det ligger jo fortsatt
That was
der.
left
Er du
here.
serr?
What a sad sight to see, knowing that that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen. Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Shove, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else. As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick. Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house. It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Filya had stolen. Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006. It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but
Altså, jeg skulle si altså, noen må ha bodd der. Det der står liksom, putene var satt opp og greier. Jeg føler at her er noen som har bodd, liksom. Jeg vet ikke, jeg føler at politiet ville ha kanskje tatt med seg tingene derfra. Kanskje, jeg vet ikke.
because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Filya, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters. Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it.
Han fikk så fortjent.
Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio.
Det her ser rett ut av en skrekkfilm. Det her er rett ut av en skrekkfilm.
In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found.
Wow.
In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue.
Er det nødvendig?
From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy, abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about 10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird.
Oh shit, det er noen der oppe, ass. Jeg skal ikke lyve. Det så vi alle sammen. Herregud.
Obviously, doors don't just randomly shut themselves, and as it wasn't particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement.
Crawlspace, eller ikke.
Still creepy.
Og så går over han. Kunne du vært litt stillere. Ja, det er 100% noen der inne, altså. Oh my days.
sorry. I didn't know nobody lived there.
Ja.
It smelled like I knew somebody was in there.
Han bare går vekk, han.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back up to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing, Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit.
Altså, det liksom ikke så skummelt da. Altså, du går inn i et forlatt sted, og det noen hjemløse mennesker der. Altså, altså, det jo creepy måten de liksom drar for gardina og skremmer livskiten ut av deg, liksom. Men altså, det bare hjemløse folk. Jeg vil heller se til noen med litt ondere hensikter.
Found discovery, Chris called it a night.
Wow, det var ikke en dårlig video der, altså. Jeg føler de kunne ha uppa scary-nivået litt mer, men altså jeg fikk meg en god skvett et par ganger. Og hvis dere skvatt, skriv det ned i kommentarfeltet. Hvis du ikke skvatt, skriv det ned i kommentarfeltet. Jeg vet om dere tøffere enn meg eller ikke. Men uansett, tusen takk for at dere så på. Husk å slenge en like, abonner. Trykk på den bjella så dere får varsling hver eneste gang jeg laster opp. Vi endelig tilbake på YouTube. Det kommer content, det kommer challenges, IRL-videoer, reaksjonsvideoer, gaming, noe streaming. Link til Twitchen min kommer til å være nede i beskrivelsen, for jeg kommer til å streame på Twitch også etter hvert, både på YouTube og på Twitch. Og så kommenter gjerne hva slags spill dere vil se, hva slags type reaksjonsvideo dere vil se, og hva slags type challenges, for eksempel, jeg kan gjøre på ekte dere vil se. Så tusen takk for at dere har sett på, og ses vi.